Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Leading with Light session. So happy to have you this morning joining me again, wherever you're joining from. We hope to have another intense lesson this morning so that we can continue to dig into our purpose. Our first part of the series talked about how we confuse our role with our purpose. Last week, we looked at how to identify your purpose and align your purpose with your core values. And today, we want to look at how we handle our assignments and how we make sure that our assignment aligns with our purpose. And for that reason, we have to redefine success. And so I want to thank Natalie. I see you. Thomas, thank you so much for joining. I see you, Princess. Thank you so much for joining. And of course, we are also on YouTube. And so as I continue, LinkedIn user, I see you. Hello. I know you're there, and I'm going to be using right here. We're looking at more than one device. All right, so I want to put on the screen what we are talking about today. And I say, and I always say, your purpose is designed to stretch you beyond the comfort zone of safety into the limitless potential of faith. And so your purpose stretches you, it doesn't break you. And so when you are in your purpose, your assignments build you up. They do not break you down. All right. So we want to now look at how we want to progress on this line of aligning our assignments with our purpose. I keep saying, and this is my theme. Good afternoon, Cyrus. Thank you so much for joining. Your success is your journey of purpose and growth. So your success journey is one of purpose and growth. And it starts with you. And I say every time, if not you, then who? So as we talk about assignments and purpose, I want to get some definitions in. And so the first one would have to be, what is assignment and what is purpose? And so you don't want to confuse your calling with your assignment. And you don't want to misunderstand what you are called to fulfill, because you are called to fulfill God's purpose. You are assigned to specific tasks for God's purpose. And that is the overarching idea I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind as we move through this step by step. My intention is really to have persons understand what it is that they are doing, how they are navigating what they're doing, and why they're doing it. So they come to an integrated whole of why they were born and why they exist, because that's your purpose, your overarching reason for existing, the why beyond your life, why you're created and why you exist. And your assignment is that task or project or role or position that you are placed in to contribute your gifts and your talents naturally towards this purpose. And so those of you who really don't know who I am, I want to tell you some things about myself. I am Dr. Marcia Thomas, and I have spent over 20 years at all levels in the education industry, and also as an adjunct professor at a university, several of them internationally and locally. I transitioned into coaching and consulting as a Christian leadership coach because I spent years building up my career. I got accolades, I got all sorts of achievements nationally, awards and prominence, and also locally. And I have gotten some international awards, Good Samaritan Foundation and so on, for exemplary work and contribution to service, to education, and to my church. But I still felt that there was something I was created to do that I was not doing. And so I did my alignment. I went through my spiritual gifting tests. I understand where I was programmed, and I began to press into my assignment. And so I help female leaders who spend years building their career but feel unfulfilled and feel that they are called something greater, but they just can't put their hand on it. They feel guilty and they don't know what crime they have committed. They are actually settled in the comfort illusion or productivity illusion that they are at the top of their game. They have it figured out. They are doing well, but somewhere along the line, they just that little happiness, that little final contentment, that actualization is missing them. So when they sit and have quiet moments, they still feel that something is missing. I help you to actually tap into your natural gifts and talents and do what you were created to do. I help you to bridge that gap between your career and your calling. And so you might want to settle in some more and attach your assignments to your calling. That's what I make you do. Or you might want to transition out of your space and build something else, that brilliant business idea you may have, that comfort of wanting to be your own boss and the master of your own destiny. Instead of supporting people, you want to finally support yourself and embrace a collective well-being in your community and serve those you were created to serve and solve the problem that you were created to solve using your assignments. And so you might want to move up in your organization also, because you are doing all the work. You are in a position and someone else is in the position that you could occupy because you are actually doing all of their work. And you are beginning to feel that all of what you have accomplished is not meaningful, because there is this restlessness in you, this gnawing, persistent whisper or calling to be significant, meaning to serve others and not just yourself, that you could be doing more, that you could be changing more lives, that you could be actually impacting lives, you could be changing outcomes, but where you are quite limited, and you want to make that transition into settling into this divine alignment. That's what I do. And you are the people that I help. And of course, it is persons who are 40 and over, but I also help beginning leaders to identify their calling and to start their assignment with courage, clarity, and the confidence that they need to tie it all together until they are moved upward or outward or within. And so this Leading with Light session is really to talk about that. And so it is really for persons who, career professionals who are seeking meaning beyond their job titles, and also leaders who are navigating the transitions while staying purpose driven, and also anyone else who's ready to uncover how their work aligns with their faith and life's ultimate calling. Because your role is extrinsically motivated. It is your what, but your purpose, which is leading from the inside, allows you to lead with light and answers whys. So you keep answering why. And as you answer why, you build and you pull into your calling. And so, how do assignments help you to fulfill your purpose? Assignments simply provide you the opportunity to apply your natural skills, your talents, your gift sets, your abilities, your capabilities, your passions, and your experiences, whether they are good or bad, your wins, your challenges, and so on, to make progress towards your purpose. So every part that you take and every step you take, your purpose is watching you. Let me repeat that. Every step you take, every experience you have, every setback, every mistake, every failure, every win, every celebration, your purpose is watching you. Hi, Wordness. Thank you for joining. And Curtis and all the others who have joined. I appreciate you. I know this is early, and I don't want to take for granted that you're taking the time to share. Please make sure to share your expertise, give your opinions, and also ask any question that you like, and I'll be sure to answer from where I'm sitting. That's where it is, because no one person knows everything, but you might know a great deal because you have experienced it, you have lived it, and you can't unknow what you know. Hi, Sue. Thank you so much. So, how do assignments help you to fulfill your purpose? First of all, they help you to gain clarity on what you are created to do and what you exist to do, the problem that only you are created to solve. Hi, Jerito. Thank you so much. Good evening. All right. It also helps you to develop your skills and your expertise. That's what assignments do. Give you practice. There is a phrase that says, practice makes perfect. So that's what your assignments do. They perfect your skills and your expertise. They develop them. They give you confidence. They make you know what you can do and what you can't do, your limitations and your strengths. They make you become self-aware, and they make you accept yourself, sum total of who you are. So we want to look at the fact that it helps you to also build relationships and your network. So your assignments put you with people, the people that you have to relate to, whether they are your destiny helpers or your delayers, or they are the receivers and you are the giver, whatever position, whatever role, whatever task or responsibility, and the side that it puts you, so you deliver or you receive, it's also how your assignments help you to, well, all right. So we are now looking at overcoming. It helps us to overcome our challenges and grow our assignments. What does that mean? We learn our lessons, and we make our mistakes, even if we have to start over 7 times. By the time you get to 40, that's what assignments do. They help you to sift what you don't need and to accept what you can't change and to move into what you are really and truly naturally gifted and good at. And so they make you know, assignments help you to make meaningful contributions, but you greater when you evolve, as you look at the different levels, what you want to end up at is making meaningful connections, impacting lives, changing outcomes, and allowing persons to become masters of their own destiny. If your purpose do not serve others, then you are carrying out a role. It is an assignment, because your purpose is not about you. It's about something much bigger than you, and it's about serving others, allowing others to become masters of their own destiny, and allowing them to confidently tap into their own why and service. Because service is the rent we pay for our sojourn here on earth. And as I go through this discussion, I did say in this book that I have here, that I wrote some time ago, A Leader Like You, I want to share from it what I say purpose is. And I say that I join with Catherine Creasy, and she says our purpose is why we are on earth. And that is clear. Whilst our calling is the path we take to fulfill our purpose, we want to understand that the assignments are just the tasks that we do along the way. And so last week I highlighted that God created us before we were in the womb. He formed us, He fashioned us, and He created us for a specific assignment on earth. That is so clear. And so our existence is not a mistake. I explained that you were born at that time and in that season and in that year and in that family for a reason. I gave several examples. And so he created you right and placed you where you are, how you are, because he also gave you a role and an assignment. And the sum total of your experiences, your challenges, your mistakes, your grooming, all of your, whether by default or by choice, is allowed so that you can understand the role that you must play on earth. Thank you, Sarah, for joining. Good. He also planned how he wants you to serve him. Because remember, we had explained that the tasks are really the pathways that he has opened for you to serve him. What do I mean by serve him? For you to carry out the purpose that you were created for on earth. He also says that you are the way you are because you were made specifically for this particular assignment. And I got it, and I support that thought from God shaped you to serve him. And so I look at it, and I want to give some examples so we understand. Because sometimes, as I said in the first series, part of the series, this is the third part. I'm in my free model. Last week, the first week we look at the F part, the focus. Then we look at the R. Last week, for those who are not here, you want to check that video. And today we want to look at the E. So we are engaging with our purpose. And so we look at Esther, who was set apart before her birth for knowing that she would become the queen, a beauty queen, in God's divine plan to deliver Israel. So we want to be out there understanding. Mary was set aside before her birth to give birth to Jesus, so he could enter the human world. And then Deborah was set aside to become the first female judge in Israel history, securing 40 years of peace for the Israelites. So we want to, I'm giving these examples so we can begin to focus on how our assignments differ from our purpose and how our assignments actually contribute to our purpose. Moses was set aside before he was born for his parents' enemies to raise him, and then for him to tend sheep in order to fulfill his assignment to bring the children of Israel from Egypt and fulfill its purpose as that savior, that chart. So Joshua was set aside before he was born to come after Moses and to lead the children of Israel across into the promised land. So our assignments are different. David set aside to kill Goliath so that he could later become the king of Israel. And as the king, it was the ultimate purpose for that nation to be great. David was the least chosen of his brothers. In fact, when everybody was presented, he was taken from among the back, the least of the apostles. But his purpose, your purpose, eventually catches up with you. And that's what I say all the time. Your purpose eventually catches up with you. And Jonah is a perfect example of that. When God asked him to go to Nineveh, he said, no, I'm not going. He fought hard, he hid, and so on. But in the end, the whale just pitched him out right where he was to serve the purpose. And that was to avert the disaster that God was to bring upon Nineveh. And so John the Baptist was set aside as we go through the Bible to actually baptize God so he could fulfill the purpose of dying on the cross for those of us who accept that. So we want to understand that it is when you have completed all your assignments that you have fulfilled your purpose. When you have fulfilled all of your assignments, all of them, that you have fulfilled your purpose. But it can take some persons 10 years, 1 year to know what they were created and why they exist. And it can take some of us 40 years. But believe it or not, we sometimes on our deathbed say, this is what I really wanted to do, and this is what I should have done, or I would have been more fulfilled. I think I would have contributed more. And God forbid we get to that point. We are on our deathbed. We have to make that pronunciation. And so I do these things for us, these little sessions for us to tap into it, because our life holds very little meaning Very little meaning or significance if we cannot answer these questions. And I want to put these questions to you this morning. And if you have a pen, you may want to write it down. Hi, Lisa. Marjana, I see you also. Thank you so much. So, as I was saying, our life holds little meaning if we are not able to answer these questions. And the first question I want us to look at answering that will make us begin to tap into our purpose and view our assignments as our allies and move into making them our friends instead of our enemies, instead of seeing them as setbacks, see them as opportunities to carry out our purpose and to do what we were created to do. Then we want to look at what is my highest and best self. What is my highest and best self? Hi, Tanik, I see you. Thanks for joining. Did I make the best use of what God gave me? Is what I is the answer at the end of it all. When all is said and done, was I at my highest and best self? And did I fulfill the purpose or made the best use of what God gave me, my talents, my gifts, and so on, to serve? The next question that you want to ask is, did I fulfill the task that bound me to my calling and purpose? Because when you identify and understand, thank you, Any Learning Leads Today. Thank you so much for joining. When you identify and understand your specific assignment, the levels of assignments, and also why you need to finish, you finish triumphantly because you pay attention and you focus on your direction and you embrace your destiny. Because your destiny is the sum total of all the experiences that you have as you march towards the end. As you march towards the end. Let me explain that again. Your destiny is the sum total of all of who you are and what you have become, your experiences, your trials, your struggles, your win, as you march towards the end. And so I want us to understand that. So as we understand that, we want to look at the 5 fundamental levels of God's assignment, which I have written about also in this book, A Leader Like You. And so I believe, and this is my belief, it might not be common, you might not see it anywhere, but I believe that there are 5 fundamental levels of your assignment. And the first one is the preparation or feeding level. What happens at this level? You are prepared and equipped for your purpose. And so you're on a learning, growing, and developing curve. What do? You develop the skills and knowledge needed for your assignment. And so in my book, I explain that at the preparation and the feeding level, you undergo training and preparation. What does that training and preparation entail? You understand the problem that you must solve at the start because that is a simple assignment. So the problem you must solve is big enough for you to see, but it is also small enough that you can deal with almost effortlessly. So we want to understand this. So at this level, you ask and you seek and you knock. What does that mean? You seek mentorship. You train yourself, you get your degree, you get whatever you need, and then you do your self-reflection. You begin to visualize what is it that you think you're leaning towards, what is it that appeals to you. Your passions are right at this time, they're at their highest peak, and you appear to be unbeatable. And so you are finding your bearings at the preparation and feeding stage. And so I say that is how God works for you to find your bearings. You now realize that you can do anything, but you are not born to do everything. So you experiment at this stage. You sift through your skills and your talents. You do many things. jack of all trades, master of none, because you are in that preparation stage. And so that is how God begins to stamp his purpose on you. He makes you understand that you have wings, that you're an eagle, and that you can, in fact, fly. What you want to do is to find the right plane to take you to your destination. And at this stage, you are shifting. You are wondering if you're to take a taxi, if you're to just walk, if you're to take the train, if you're to take you're to be on the subway, if you are to be in your own car. You are sifting through all of that. And so he equips you and he prepares you and he makes you want to look now at what you would need, the needed provisions. And so you are not getting that provision, however, until you step into your vision. Because here is where you are establishing your vision. You are trying to see things clearly, and you're not getting the resources until you can connect your sources. Your sources is just those mentors, those trainers, that self-reflection, those coaches, that your parents, your church members, your friends, that you are saying, I think that I would love to do this. What do you think? You're at that stage. And then you are now pushed into where you are now able to say and answer the question, what am I prepared for? What am I prepared for? And so if you're geared towards listening to God's voice and so on, you also seek him. You also pray. You knock. You keep saying to him, what am I being prepared for? Why am I going through this? Is where it ends. Why am I being prepared? Why am I finding myself on path connected with these persons? You begin to ask those types of questions. When you answer that question, you now move into what I call the sustenance level. And at this level, you move from the obedience now, obeying yourself, obeying others. You move from that stage into obeying God, and you are more courageous, you are more mature, you are more settled. And maturity, by the way, does not necessarily come with age. It comes with experience. And that is my opinion, that maturity often comes more with age, walk with age, with experience more than age. Age sometimes walk alone, because there are persons who are 70 who act like they are 7. And there are persons who are 7 who you wonder, because they look as if they act as if they're 70. And so we want to understand where I'm going with that. And so your assignments at this stage are not as small anymore, and they become a little more challenging, because now you are settling into life, you are getting a little older, you want to have a stable income, you want to have a family, you want to begin to chart in a more definite pattern your career. And the thing is, you are no longer afraid. You are what I now call an realistic enthusiast, because you now feel that you possess enough creativity, compassion, and courage. You now see what your skills, your talents, and your skill sets and your talents are. You now see where you think you want to fit, and you are now taking the steps to fit right there. You know that all things are also working for your good, and you are beginning to understand the intentionality of faith and of putting out effort, of being determined, of getting your focus. That is where you are now focusing. And at this level too, the sustenance level, God uses each of the challenge you have to train you to listen, and that's very important, and to open yourself, your mind and your head and your heart, so he can now guide you and groom you to fulfill your assignment. And then you are not easily daunted at the sustenance level. You are not easily daunted, because you are beginning to accept that you have been raised for a purpose. So you're beginning, even if it is unconsciously, you begin to accept that you're raised up for a purpose. And so you begin to feed yourself. You get the resources. whether it is now that you have graduated from your college or you have decided to open your business, whatever it is, you are now past the experiment stage and the visualization stage, and you're now putting some things into action. You're now creating pathways for yourself. And notice what I say, you're creating pathways for yourself. Thank you for joining, Alison. I see you also, Leslie. Please remember, everyone, if you have any points you want to put there, anything you want to add, anything that you want to expound on, any questions, you can ask and we'll try our best to answer. And notice I say we because there are persons in my audience who have great experience and also are proficient in their areas that you might be asking questions in. And so you now feed yourself spiritually, emotionally, and mentally to sustain your journey ahead, because you create a support network. You are prioritizing self-care and you're trusting in the divine provisions that you have, because none of us paid money for our eyes. We did not pay money for our hands and our legs. And so we understand that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that if God should decide to take away his free air and his mercy, that we would have very little left. So I am saying without apology, because we do not create ourselves. And so we want to focus on what sustains me and keep me going. That's the question you want to ask yourself. And when you focus on what sustains you and keep you going, you will get some answers as my effort. I am my greatest asset. I need to know what I'm doing. I need to be determined. I need to be consistent. I need to be intentional. I need to be purposeful, so that the universe, my support network, and God, the contract I have with the human and divine, can be realized. Because nobody learns to swim on land, and nobody at all but God can call things into being. Nobody. So you can't say, red dress, come out of your closet and go on me. You have to take action. So you also understand that you must take strategic action. And so you are no longer fumbling in the dark. You are walking towards the light. And let's look, please listen to that phrase. You're walking towards the light, because as you begin to explore and experiment, you begin to put the things in your compartment, in your memory bank, in your memories bag and box. You're beginning to frame those things that are constant, and we call those the core values. So you are now recognizing what is your non-negotiables. What is it about me that I don't intend to change at this particular time, that I don't need to change because it's working for me? What do I need to add? There is that clarity, and there is that confidence that I will begin to let go of those things that do not add value, that are not serving my purpose, and those persons also, and that you will now accept what you can't change also, and that you will keep pulling into yourself and not compete with yourself those things that are working for your good. And so you must also look at what you keep negotiating with. Are you apologizing for wanting to step out, for wanting not to be put into the framework of how the expectations of others? You begin to assess those things, and you begin to create your own path. You begin to become master of your own destiny, because you're now beginning to shape what is it that you really want, what you're comfortable with, what gives you joy, what gives you delight, what is it that you are able to do even if you're in your sleep. You begin that level of self-awareness. You begin to search. Everybody goes through that searching as they begin to frame and take a firm stand as to the direction they are going to take, even if it is something that is handed to you that serves your purpose at that particular time, that grounds you and that makes you begin to take a hard look forward or beside you as to the next steps that you will take as you move into the next level, which I call the anointed level. And at this level, you begin to receive spiritual empowerment. What is spiritual empowerment? And I want us to understand that at this level, your assignments get more formidable. And so when I talk about spiritual empowerment, there can be at this point a lot of doubt, a lot of setbacks, a lot of mistakes, because there are some persons that will start with you, but they will never finish. You cannot carry them. You can't carry them with you. They were never destined to go with you, because some persons are created to help to plant the seed in your life, but they are not appointed to water that seed or to nourish it. Your assignments move you into this, and Leslie said something that I want us to understand that explains it very well. Let me see if I can pick up that comment. We meet the light where it meets us. Perfectly. So there are some persons, this anointed level, your assignment gets formidable, because to really know, step into yourself, to leave persons behind, to leave habits behind, to change patterns and routines, and to actually embrace what is it that your heart is calling you with a thunderous call, or a persistent whisper, or a nudge to do, becomes something. The realization that it is much bigger than you can make you feel fearful, can make you dread stepping or crossing over. But the light is still calling you, and it is willing to meet you where you are. And so we want to understand that you have entered a wilderness season, a season that only you alone can trod. Have you ever, this, and there are many in this group who will tell you that when they decided to sell their house and move into a completely different community that they don't know of, to take up a particular assignment because of what their heart was calling them to do, they can tell you that their friends became angry and told them that they were doing something foolish. They were isolated. Some of them laughed and scoffed, and some of them said, "That's impossible. You're gonna be coming back." But they were not able to go with you. And some of them even lost contact with you until they saw you on the media getting that award or accolade to say that you whatever you stepped out to do in faith. Very fearful, very uncertain, but very courageous, very brave, and very determined, because you had to answer this irresistible call. They now understand that it was something much bigger than you and also them, but they have to concede that it was a risk that paid off, because they see it as a risk. But the universe knew that the provisions were already made because of your obedience, and because of the clarity and the confidence that you got while you were in your sustenance level, how you were fed and how you were nourished, how you had to make those changes, how you had to make those calls, how you had to make that differentiation, what you know understood was not working for you, how you negotiated with those things that were adding value to your life, how you did that strategic accent, how you networked, how you pulled on new and improved support systems and groups, how you actually collaborated with persons who had a part of the vision and needed to complement your vision. and who you actually created with. And so at this time, you are really tested and tried and ready to give up your assignment because you are alone. You're almost alone. And those who come out of the woodwork are persons you would never expect to say, I will invest in this idea. Because God, as I said, when He prepared you at the preparation stage, when He gave you the resources that you now have, being the greatest resource, and now He opens your eyes at the anointed stage so that you are receiving from those who are to pour into this calling. And that's really the idea. So many persons at this stage become the informed pessimists. That's what I call you. So you have moved from the optimist to the realistic enthusiast, and now at this level you are become the informed pessimist because your joys seem to be diminishing. You are no longer sure if this is what you really want to do. You're at a crossroads, and also your joy killers and namesayers increase. So when you're at the anointed level, I want to make this point and make it very clearly, and I have made it in my book. I am actually touching the book for those who have not bought it. It is on page 56, and these I have explained it very distinctly in that chapter of my book. And so your joy greatly diminish, and your joy killers and naysayers increase. Nobody sees that vision that you now have because you yourself does not understand the vision. It is taking shape in you. It's a persistent call that you're answering, and you know that it is right, and you don't actually see the way out. And I think one of those ways that you actually see it is that Leslie always gives us an experience when she wanted to do what she now does so expertly and well. And she did not really see, she knew it's something she needed to do, but she did not see the funds. And she tells you the story of how at the appointed time the funds turned up. And that resonated with me, that faith that pulls you into visualizing what you need and also creating the pathways in your mind and cooperating with the universe to pull it towards you by faith, the provisions that God has made, and points you to that place and those persons who He has appointed to be a part of this journey and to help you to fulfill the assignment at this time that is a part of the package of fulfilling your purpose is very clear. So at this stage, I say your soul is, this level troubles your soul. And I want people to understand it because everything that can be shaken is shaken at this level. Your faith, your skills, your talents, your abilities, your friendships, your relationships, your influence, your value, and your worth. Every voice of accusation, and I'm reading it from my book, this phrase, I want you to hear it. Every voice of accusation and every enemy to success is present and forcefully active at this level. And so, how do you master this level? You seek spiritual guidance, and you have to practice faith much more over fear. And you have to surrender. Surrender to God and your calling, and to the universe and to your path. You have to surrender. So you ask the question, what is the source of my power and authority? And the answer explains that it is a journey that you and God is taking. It is a contract between the human and the divine. The human is you and the divine is God. And so you begin to focus on your direction. And so there is, at this stage, you also have cynicism, the voice of judgment, you have fear, there is blame all around, but you must never lose sight that you are not alone, and you must never feel that clarity and confidence, that thunderous push on your heart and pull, that persistent prompt, that persistent whisper Remember that you're not alone. Do not ignore that, because that is your purpose calling you. All right, so we move from there and we want to get now to that level where sometimes at the anointed level also, I just want to make this clear. Your experiences can certainly knock you off your feet. Feeling alone or feeling isolated, feeling betrayed or overwhelmed because of criticism, because of scarcity, because of uncertainty, can knock you off your feet, and it can take you off guard. And when that happens, you just need to pause. You need to pause and you need to reconnect to your why. Because the why is the important thing. And you don't want to create your how based on the realistic presence. You are present, so you have to live life in the present. And so you want to look at what you have at your disposal that you don't need anyone to give you. You don't need anyone to validate. And you work with God to pull you back into the path or onto the path of your purpose. And so that is very, very important. So it takes a determination, and it also takes focus and intentionality. It takes maturity, it takes surrender, it takes faith, and it also takes courage. All right. So at the anointed level, the trick is if you get through that level, you now want to move into your appointed level. And at this level, I say that you at the anointed level, if you really fail to cross over at that stage, then you suffer a prolonged period of missed opportunities. So you cannot afford at any point in your life, on your journey or your path, to become so reliant on others that you become a functional helpless person where you can't do anything without consulting someone, and you don't feel that you can be successful without other persons, or significant. You don't feel that you can serve if this person doesn't connect you over here, and so on. You want to understand that your giftings and your callings and your unique part and the problem that you have to solve needs you. It really needs you. And as you blossom, as you pull on you, you begin to pull the persons towards you, and the light begins to meet you where you are. And we also meet the light where it meets us. The assignments are just the lights that we meet where it meets us. And we meet the light also. So the assignments meet us and we meet them also. We lead with that type of light, that our assignments is the what or the how that I'm to carry out my purpose. And so if you focus on the what, the missed opportunities, what is affecting you and so on, you'll find that you stay very long. You linger at this realization. It hinders the realization of your purpose. You cannot skip seasons. It is adeptly handling them that is crucial for you to progress to your destined level. And everybody's destined level is their commissioned level. And everybody at this level is required to do the same thing: serve, inspire, and grow. So it's not that part of it, that outcome is not different for anyone. For you to fulfill your purpose, you must be serving, you must be inspiring, and you must be growing. And so inspiring and serving and growing means that you are changing the lives you must be changing. You're changing the outcomes that you are creating to serve. You're solving the problems that you are called to serve. So you learn that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And you understand at this level that you have a duty. And so it comes now with a full consciousness of why you are here and what is it that you really are comfortably doing that brings you joy, that has enough challenges, wins, and so on, the sum total of the experiences. But at the end of it, you are serving, because service does not come in a very linear way to just carry you to the path that you are to be on. There are persons who misunderstand or do not know that that is your purpose. And that is why sometimes you end up in a toxic workplace, because your purpose and assignment at that time is to change the environment there. There are some persons who also ask for patience. I need patience for this and patience for that. And you are placed into this toxic workplace with these contentious persons so you can learn patience. And so I want you to understand that at the appointed level, you are placed exactly where you must be to grow yourself or to grow others, to serve yourself or to serve others, and to inspire yourself or to inspire others. And self-serving is different from serving yourself. Serving yourself means that you pour into you the things that you need for what you need to get done. Some persons need to rest 2 hours per day because of the stressful nature of their job. So they have what to give, and that they are now prepared to do what they are required to do. Some persons have to take their walk. Some people have to go on meditation. Some persons have to actually take vacations when it is their vacation time. And there are some persons who can keep going because their assignment requires them and fulfills them in such a way that their assignments become a hobby and not a grind, a 9 to 5 grind, because persons are being served. They are feeling actually fulfilled. There is joy. And so there are some persons who say, I get the greatest joy when every patient under my care for the night is very settled and resting. I help them to alleviate their pain and so on. My mother was a nurse, God rest her soul, and that lady would do overtime if there is a patient that she feels would need her because the family members were not around. She would sit at that bedside, she would soothe, she would read their favorite Bible verse. If there's a song that they like, she would ensure that it is played, those types of things. That was not a part of her job, but her purpose that she determined from very early was that she wanted to be able to heal and comfort people. She wanted to help people. So whatever assignment she took up, whatever part she took, which was she became a nurse, would center her into that type, those characteristics, those gifts, those natural things that she possessed. She was always the type that would make sure that everybody is taken care of. She would move heaven and earth to help others, and she sacrificed her time and herself. But when she got home in her bed to sleep, she said, I get a good sleep because I can sleep in peace, because I have done a good work, not for the gain, but for the fact that that was her purpose and her calling. And so you understand that you're officially, designated for a specific role or position, which comes with a clear sense of responsibility and authority to fulfill your assignment. And so you have clarity in your role, you have determination, you have actually established your boundaries, meaning you know what you will do, how far you will go, what are your non-negotiables, what is it that is your irresistible calling and pull, and what gives you the greatest joy. And so you begin to prioritize your tasks. What do I mean? You do those things that are purposeful, intentional, and focused, and you do not pay attention to what I call the ants pullers. Those are the little distractions, the little annoyances, the little setbacks that come upon your path to distract you and to derail your destiny or put it in dormancy. Those are the ant crawlers. And so those are some simple little things that you spend time, so they add up to big things. Let me explain. There are some persons who annoy your spirit. They nudge on your spirit, and you have to work with them. And every little thing that they come up with, every little gripe, every little complaint, because they are masters in, they get a master's or a PhD in complaining or finding the bad in everything. And you keep paying attention to that consistent complaint that makes you unable to function for the day. You get a headache. You have to learn how to avoid being in confrontation with these people. So you want to address the spider. You want to kill the spider at all times instead of removing the cobweb. So you want to pay attention to legitimate concerns and complaints, and you want to handle those, and you want to leave them to deal with those complaints that has to do with them, that points to them being their problem, because you can't solve their problem. You have to solve the problem that you are placed there to solve and created to solve. So them being a problem, you can't solve that because you can't fire them and you can't take them out there, but you can solve the problem or the concern from a good, safe, genuine, and sincere place, but you can't solve them. And so when we pay attention to solving them instead of solving the problems, we focus on them, and our destiny or purpose is derailed because that is really their intent. That is why they are there, to test you, to try you, to prove you, and to see if you are standing for what you say you believe in, or you are actually cemented enough in your purpose to carry it through no matter what. So you want to ask the question, what is my specific role and intended outcome of the authority that I have now been given, the responsibility, the assignment in fulfilling my purpose? When you pay attention to that, then nobody can distract you. And nothing can distract you because you take it in stride. You move with what you need to do to bring it to the level that it is to be brought in, meaning either eliminate it or tolerate it or help persons to live with it, accepting the things you cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. And you move along, you press forward to the light, and you fulfill your purpose. Because of course you would have understood the purpose. There are many of us who are in positions, and no matter what you do, you can't move from that position. If you apply out, you're not getting the jobs. You're doing the interviews, and you're not getting the calls, and you can't move up. And you get a little frustrated at that appointed level, because at that level you have not fulfilled your purpose. The purpose is that when you are changed, if that is really why you have that assignment, or when you change who you are to change by focusing on the why, you now begin to move. The moment you are finished that assignment, you are moved to the next level. The universe rewards you when you do what you are required to do, that way you're called to do at that point. Your assignment is understood. Your why is answered over and over, and you are now able to move to the next level. So your question about your role and the intended outcome of my authority, when you sit and think about it, wherever you are, whether it is in a toxic workplace, in a relationship that you think you might have to get out of, meaning a divorce or a family, a change where you have to get home to help your parents because you're the only child, or it has to be that you now have to transition into your own business or affairs. Whatever it is, you want to know, look, whether it is a devastating occurrence or a life-changing event, whatever it is, you want to look at how it is that this role that you're now in, because your role is your what? Your circumstance, your position, your issue. What is the intended outcome? Why am I going through this at this time? When you are able to answer that, you know you are now able to pinpoint the intended outcome. And you want to look now that you have now the authority to fulfill that purpose, whatever it is. And you also have the resources and you have the cooperation of the universe and God to propel you where you need to go. Of course, God does things in his time and in his season. And that is why you now get to the commissioned level. Because the commission stage is where you now are at. So you are being released now when you understand all of that, when you have gone through the sum total of your experiences, your wilderness and experiences, you are now understand that you are commissioned. At this level, you now take everything in stride and you understand that there is a lesson in everything, and you allow very little or nothing to disturb your peace of mind or to distract you from your purpose. And so confrontation, loss, grief, betrayal, disappointment, criticism, accusation, alienation, shame, and even reproach, you pass all that test. You pass all of that test. You endure, you conquer, and you overcome. You become resilient because your purpose gives you a warrior's mindset. And so your tough situations, you recover from that. You stop making excuses. You choose your battles wisely because you have learned to rely on yourself, on the presence, the power, the providence, and the performance of God. Your faith is at its highest peak, and you are now able to comprehensively execute your assignment with the urgency that it required, with the accountability, and with the meaningful impact. So you now set very clear and strategic goals. You focus on your direction. You remain steadfast and immovable. You thrive in hardship and you begin to build your lasting legacy. What is your lasting legacy? You begin to impact lives, you begin to change lives, you begin to change outcomes, you propel people to become masters of their own destiny, and you motivate them to begin to reach deep into themselves and to own their purpose and begin to live it. And so the questions that we say you're to ask, am I showing up as my best self? Because the thing is, am I fulfilling my mission? Am I finishing my course? And so we talk about asking those questions, and that's the question. These are the questions we want you to ask again as you seek to fulfill your purpose. And I'm going back to the questions right in this book here that I have here. What is my highest and best self? Did I make the best use of what God gave me? Did I fulfill the task that bound me to my calling and purpose? And so you want to answer those questions. And so I want to close now as we go down. I want to say to you, your destiny is too great, your assignment is too important, and your time too valuable. So do not let fear intimidate you when you are moving to the commissioned level, which is now the release. Fear is at its greatest at the anointed level. It begins to diminish at the appointed, and it is handled at its best when you get to your commissioned level, when you are settled and immovable in your purpose, when you're sure that you know what you know and nothing will change that, when you cannot unknow what you know, nothing will change that. When you get to that level where you are actually embracing the light fully, then there is no dimming of that. At all times, you will meet the light where it is, and you will come into full circle. And so you begin at that time to redefine success by aligning it to your assignments and your assignments to your purpose. So you start with clarity. You start with clarity. So I say you reflect on your spiritual calling and your values. You understand that every role or task is temporary, and you also understand that you are equipped and you are being prepared for your broader purpose. So success now is no longer about promotions or accolades. It's more about fulfilling your God-given purpose or mission. And then the next thing that you want to do is focus on impact over income. You want to redefine your success by focusing on your growth and learning and measuring your impact or your influence and your contribution to your society, to your environment, to your ministry, to your industry, to your family. You want to balance now your career and your family with your ministry rather than financial gains or titles or outcomes. And then you also want to focus on prioritizing fulfillment over achievement. So you want to know, measure your success by how well you work or align with your kingdom values, such as I said before, serving others, changing outcomes, changing lives, making disciples. What do I mean by when I say making disciples? Because I don't want that term to frighten anyone. Persons who you have served, whose life you have impacted, will tell the story, how they changed, how they developed, how they found their own purpose, their own voice, how they were now able to become masters of their own destiny, how they were led into the light, and how after meeting the light where it was meeting them, they were able to change their circumstances, that of their family, and also make the impact. So you want to ensure that even your small tasks have eternal significance, a simple task. And so you want to shift your focus from external validation to experiencing internal fulfillment. So you want to want to be able to say, I have fought a good fight, I have finished the course, my assignments were well done. What I was commissioned to do, divinely appointed and ordered to do, I have completed. So you want to value relationships over recognition. So you want to focus on building meaningful relationships and connections rather than seeking external recognition or fame. That will come when all of the others are met. And then you want to be able also to emphasize progress over perfection. So you see, success doesn't always come in a linear way. Sometimes God shifts you into different roles or assignments so you are prepared for the greater impact or the influence that you must make. And discomfort is one of the hallmarks of being appointed and commissioned. You don't always get things the way you want them. You may end up saying, if anyone told me that I would be running 7 businesses, I would tell them no. I never saw myself doing this. I just felt drawn towards it. And when I got there, I fit so smugly. I couldn't believe that I wasted time doing so and so. Or you say, I understood why I lost so and so. It was driving me to this total feeling of contentment and joy. And so you celebrate your progress, your growth and learning rather than striving for perfection. And then you also want to look at integrating your faith and excellence in every assignment. So you want to reflect on your spiritual calling and values. You want to ensure that your goals and your aspirations integrately align to your core values, your actions and your decisions, that they resonate with your core values and your purpose. Because once that is out of alignment, you cannot feel whole. You will always feel that there's something missing. You always feel guilty without understanding the crime that you commit. You will always be apologizing to your purpose. You will always be putting certain parts of your purpose in dormancy or derailing it or putting it off. You will always find yourself lingering at a certain point. Lingering is as if you're marking time, because no matter what you are achieving, something is just missing. You can't quite put your hand on it. It's your purpose. And so when you get to that point and you get to that type of clarity, confidence, and understanding, you realize that success is no longer about promotions or accolades, but about fulfilling your God ordained mission, honoring God with what He has given you, your gifts, your talents, and so. So, in closing, I want to say now, how do you now link your why with your leadership, your significance, and success? When you align your assignments with your purpose, success becomes about obedience and faith, impact and eternal significance, rather than the worldly measures of achievement. This shift not only brings fulfillment, but it also allows you to live a life that honors God and blesses others. And so this is where I end, and I say, I want you to remember that you don't need a magic wand when you're already equipped with divine purpose and grit. Powerful results need powerful purpose. If you follow your heart and your soul, you will get there. You will get to your purpose because your heart knows the way. So you need to remember that true leadership necessitates questioning why, and the ministry strive when why takes precedence over what. Leadership begins within, and as you embrace your why and lead with purpose, your impact will ripple from far beyond what you can imagine. And so you can connect with me if you feel that you want to get some alignment about unlocking or aligning your assignment with your purpose. If you need support to unlock your purpose and take these actionable steps to maximize your impact in your life and leadership, then you need to complete your purpose assignment alignment audit, which is on thank you, Anjo, for joining, which is on my profile. And you want to drop me a message at drtpmotivate2@gmail.com, or you can schedule your soul sync powered up session to make that one important move towards your authentic alignment, doing what you're created to do instead of what you have been given to do. I want to thank everyone who took the time to join. We are a little behind. Next time, I want to make sure I stick to the 8:30. I went over by 30 minutes, and so I thank everyone who remained. I know we're busy and we have other things to do. Please join Tanik and I on Thursday as we move into another fulfilling topic, and also join all the others who have their different lives today. Let us stay connected and let us begin to evaluate how well we are aligning our assignments with our purpose, because that disconnect, that misalignment can make you grow in the dark. God bless you all, and looking forward to see you next week, Tuesday, when we talk about the characteristics of a purpose-driven leader. Thank you again for joining. Have a great day, and may you have a blessed week.